I put 5 strongest Devil Fruit users against 5 strongest non-Devil Fruit users and results with Sokyu. Whitebeard is leading his crew with Shiki, Luffy, Kaido and Sengoku, while Roger is prepared with Garp, Shanks, Mihawk and Rayleigh. The battle starts with Luffy taking on his master Rayleigh, and both start with their normal Conqueror's class dealing significant damage to environment. But advanced Conqueror's class happen nearby, where their captains Roger and Whitebeard class with force is strong enough to split the sky. On the next island, Shanks and Sengoku, who is already on his golden Buddha form, are staring at each other, waiting for good opportunity to take advantage with single blow. Far away, Garp is taking on his old rival Shiki. Mihawk and Kaido are simply happy to take on each other, the strongest creature and the strongest swordman alive. Both are suffering from success of not getting good opponents to fight, so both are simply happy to test each other. Mihawk draws his Yoru while Kaido take on his stand with Hasekai. After a few minutes, the battle between Sengoku and Shanks has started. Shanks has already attacked Sengoku with multiple divine departures, but Sengoku's Buddha form is so durable, it is not getting much affected. Shanks is impressed that Sengoku's Buddha form is as durable as he used to hurt. It seems like Shanks is trying to maintain distance cause he don't wanna get too close that he would get critical hit by golden shockwaves. But the divine departures that he is launching from far away aren't dealing any damage. Sengoku is trying to close the distance as well, but he's no match for the speed of Shanks. The battle between Rayleigh and Luffy is still going on. Rayleigh is overpowering Luffy in Battle of Haki. Luffy attacks him with Jet Gatling, but Rayleigh dodges all punches using his advanced observation and counterattack Luffy with Conqueror's coated sword, and while defending himself, their class of advanced conquerors splits the sky. Few more classes goes on and Rayleigh is really overpowering Luffy, so Luffy decided to use Gear 4th, and seeing his speed and mastery over observation Haki, Snake Man is the best version to use, and so Luffy did. And the battle is now much more closer. Both are clashing pretty much equally. Rayleigh still seems little bit stronger, but it won't be easy for him to win. The battle between Garp and Shiki is also taking massive turn. Shiki, as he has ability to fly, has lowered Garp pretty far from sea, so that Garp won't be able to use that as his advantage. Garp really didn't care about that cause he wasn't planning to do something like that anyway, but Shiki's plan was something else, and Garp has already fallen into his trap. Big structures and literal islands were floating right above them, and Shiki was controlling all of them, so they were fighting right below Shiki's territory. Shiki wasn't taking any risk of getting any close to Garp because he knew a serious punch from Garp would definitely crush few of his bones. Shiki is laughing, but Garp isn't giving any damn about any of these things. He just wants to punch Shiki real bad, but when he hated to do so, an entire island falls from sky. But it surprised Shiki himself as Garp's single blow converts the entire island into dust. All fights goes on for pretty long, and finally it seems like we have our first winner. While Luffy is lying on the floor unable to use any kind of Haki, Rayleigh is standing right above him prepared to give a final blow. And so he does that and declares himself as winner. Or that's what Rayleigh thought. Luffy is still alive and he is turning white. Luffy's heart beats as a drum of liberation and he starts to laugh. Luffy has finally used his Gear 5th and now table has turned. Rayleigh has already used most of his power previously, but Luffy seems really fine. He is going here and there catching lightning and making giant feast, something that Rayleigh wasn't expecting. None of Rayleigh's attacks are now working anymore. He is giving his 100% and he finally managed to deal a fatal blow, but Luffy recovers instantly like nothing happened. Rayleigh isn't really happy about it, but there seems nothing he can do about this anyway. And Luffy used his ultimate attack Bajrangan to finish off Rayleigh, and we have our first winner. Then Luffy turns back to his normal form and starts screaming for meat, but there is no one to listen. He don't have any energy to go anywhere else, so he decided to just sit there and have a little rest while other 4 battles are still going on. In next few hours, another battle came to a conclusion. Marine Legend has fallen off and Shanks is a victor. Shanks regret going too close to Sengoku as his massive shockwaves managed to bypass Shanks' Haki defense and injure him heavily, but Shanks also managed to have a good hit on Buddha, and Shanks simply have a little bit more offensive power due to his Conqueror's Haki coating. But after being declared winner, Shanks also collapsed and falls asleep as he had already taken lots of internal damage from Sengoku's shockwaves. In the meantime, we have another victor. There is blood everywhere. Kaido got an X-shaped permanent scar, lot bigger than what he got from Oden or Zoro, and Mihawk is lying on the ground with his broken sword. Kaido looks disappointed, but he's smiling, and at last he said, "You thought you are the strongest, but it seems like I am." And then Kaido transforms into his dragon form and fly away. Then we get back to Garp vs Shiki, and battle is going absurd. One was throwing the literal islands and giant structures while other was punching them like it's nothing. And they keep going for few more hours. Garp is slowly realizing that he has to end this soon cause his strength is going down and he don't know how many more islands or structures are there left to deal with. While Shiki also knew he didn't have much left, so both decided to end this with their next attack. Shiki is using his biggest island he could float, while Garp is using the attack that he hadn't used since the time with Rock, and the clash between a hero and a legend happens. The clash was so strong that Shanks, who was asleep, wakes up just by the impact of that. Shanks realizes that he's not only one fighting here. After all, it's 5v5, not 1-on-1. So Shanks went to see and help his captain. But when he reached there, he couldn't believe what is happening there. The fight between Roger and Whitebeard was still going on and was so great, Shanks felt he would only get in the way of Roger if he stayed there. The island they were fighting is complete mess. Cracks everywhere, tsunamis on the nearby sea, clean sky, and two men laughing at each other at the middle. No one seems like they are tired and they can keep this going for eternity. Shanks decided to retreat and not go any closer. Instead, he would rather help Rayleigh, who by the way was already defeated. But on the way, Shanks saw Garp and Shiki. After that massive clash, both Garp and Shiki were down. None were completely defeated, but none have enough energy to finish the other one. They were just lying there and trash talking about each other. The arrival of Shanks was perfect for Team Non-Devil Fruit. However, as we know, the relation of Shanks and Garp isn't good. Getting help from Shanks seems like insult to Garp, so he wants him not to get in between. But Shanks knows he have to do something, otherwise anyone else like Kaido or Luffy could come and take advantage other way. So Shanks decided to have a final blow on Shiki, and so did he. Shiki is knocked out, but there is a twist. Shiki still had one island floating on a year, which he couldn't use cause he himself didn't have power to avoid it. But since Shiki is knocked down, the island loses its floating property and it starts falling right onto Shanks. But another twist, it starts floating again. Can you guess why? Let me know that in the comment. Well, it's actually Kaido who stopped it. Seeing Shanks below him, Kaido was happy to have another opponent to fight, but when he went near, he was disappointed. Shanks didn't look any great. Kaido was also terrible before, but him being a zone type helps him in faster recovery rate. The battle between injured Kaido and Shanks starts as Kaido starts with his Thunder Bagua. Shanks managed to dodge that with his speed and observation Haki. Although Shanks is much slower now, he still is pretty fast. Kaido turns into his hybrid form and finally manages to land a good hit on Shanks, and after a few more classes, Kaido ultimately wins. The close battle between Roger and Whitebeard goes on for a few more days, and at the end, it ended as a draw, with Roger and Whitebeard was too close to each other, leading defeat of each other, and only Luffy and Kaido being remaining winners. The top 5 strongest Devil Fruit users become winner of our first 5-on-5 battle. Check out this video of all Luffy's 9 form explained. Subscribe to our channel and see you there.